Hi everybody, my name is Christine and I am reading part of the Constitution every day until, I was going to say until July 4th, but I am nowhere near done. And we are on Article 1, Section 10, and I'm reading about, I'm reading the Constitution and I am trying to explain it to the best of my ability because I believe that it is a very important document and that it is still a good document that was written 250 years ago, and that we need to understand it a little better. And so, like I said, we are on Article 1, Section 10. And first clause is, no state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Wow, that's a lot of things they can't do. But all of it's pretty straightforward. This is because, again, the states are no longer just states. They're the United States. And while they may be able to do some things in their state, they're not able to act as a country. And so a treaty would be something a country does, an alliance, a confederation, grant letters, coin, money. The only money that you're going to be able to utilize without it being, you can't make your own money anymore. All the currency is going to be United States currency except for gold and silver, which actually you could still, well, it's not in currency. You can buy gold and silver and trade it. Pass any bill of attainment, post facto law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. There's no nobility anymore, not in the United States. Contracts, law ex post facto, which is the one we used before, which means that it was retroactive criminal law. So you can't make your own laws that are different than the United States law unless it's just the state law. You can't make it, you can't make your own money. You can't make alliances and treaties with other countries. Just very normal things that you can't do as a state anymore that you may have been able to do before the United States became the United States. Okay, no state shall, without the consent of the Congress, lay any imports or duties or imports or exports except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inception laws, and the net produce of all duties and imposts laid by any state on imports or exports shall be for the use of the Treasury of the United States, and all such laws shall be subject to the revision and control of the Congress. So again, this is just setting straight that the states no longer can have duties and taxes, imports, export taxes, and all of that. And any they might be able to collect right now, but any money that because right now they're changing things, and until everything's changed around, which might take a little bit of time, there might be a little bit of leeway there. But basically, any money that collect, it goes to the U.S. Treasury. Again, just separating the states from the United States. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state or with a foreign power, or engage in war unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. So now you can't keep troops, warships, anything to do with war, unless it's agreed upon by Congress that, hey, there's a fort here and we're going to supply the fort with this. You can't have a fort of Kentucky. You can't have a fort of Illinois. It's United States. And so anything for war is the United States. It's not each individual state. You not only can you not keep things of war without Congress, you can't engage in war. You can't say, oh, I'm going to the war with France. No, you can't go to war with France. And the only time that you can use any kind of war powers would be if your state was invaded by somebody else and there wasn't time for you to get permission, especially back then. They didn't have cell phones. They had couriers on horseback or runners. So again, they're just separating the states, not separating the states, but making the states the United States instead of separate states. So, yay, we finished Article 1. Aren't you excited? We get to go to Article 2. Article 2, Section 1. The executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and together with the Vice President, chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. Yeah, we're going to get into the confusion of the election of the president. Isn't that nice? And hopefully we can get through it and explain what the Electoral College is and why we have it. Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress, but no senator or representative or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed an elector. So this is how we get the Electoral College. They're equal to the number of senators and House of Representatives you have in a state. So that would mean that the states who only have one House of Representatives would have 3, because 2 senators, 1 House of Representatives. And California would have way more because they have more people. And again, the reason why they did this was because think about how many millions of people live in California. If California really liked one person for president, they could elect the president every single time because they are so populous compared to the rest of the United States. And that wasn't fair to the states that were not very populous. And so they were trying to figure out a way to make it equitable for everybody. And that's why we have the Electoral College. And it's tied to the amount of representatives and senators that we get in each state. So the electors shall meet in their representative states and vote by ballot for 2 persons, of whom one at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. And they shall make a list of all the persons voted for, and of the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed by the President of the Senate. Oh, this is going to be really long. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be the president. if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed. And if there be more than one who have such majority and have an equal numbers of votes, then the House of Representatives shall immediately choose by ballot one of them for president. And if no person have the majority, then from the 5 highest on the list the said House shall in like manner cause the president. But in choosing the president, the voters shall be taken by states. The votes shall be taken by states, the representation from each state having 1 vote. A quorum for the purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the state, and a majority of all states shall be necessary to a choice. In every case, after the choice of the president, the person having the greatest number of votes of the electors shall be the vice president. But if there should remain 2 or more who have equal votes, the Senate shall choose from them by ballot the vice president. Holy crap, that's a lot of words. We no longer choose the vice president that way. The president now chooses, or the person running as president chooses a running mate to be the vice president. I guess there were a lot of clashing personalities and things weren't getting done in a way that was good, proper, whatever you might want to say, clashing personalities, and vice presidents and presidents weren't getting along, or some of them at least. And so now, instead of the vice president being chosen from the second most populous vote, the president chooses a running mate, and the running mate becomes the vice president. So that's one thing that has definitely changed. But the rest of this is, holy cow, that's a lot to unpack. And so because this is already running almost 13 minutes, I am going to come back tomorrow, and we're going to take this a little at a time. I'm going to let you think about that. And I'll come back tomorrow, and we will go through that a little better. Plus, there's some things that have changed, and so I want to give the correct synopsis of the way that things have changed to make sure that you understand this better, because this is about the Electoral College, and I know a lot of people are not happy with the Electoral College, and I will give my reasonings for why. I think some people are unhappy with it because there have been quite a few presidents lately who have had more votes than the person who became president. And again, I said that's because you have a lot of states like California, you have some states like California that have an awful lot of people, and they may overwhelmingly vote for one, but they wanted the other states to have a say too. Otherwise, they would have no say at all, and they wanted it to be more fair. But I think another reason why some people aren't happy with the Electoral College is because, like most states, including the state of Illinois, it's winner take all. So we're a fairly democratic state. It does not mean that there haven't been Republicans who have been elected as governor, or that there aren't Republican people in our Senate or as representatives. It just means as a whole there tends to be more Democrats in the state, because the more popular areas are the cities. Cities tend to be a little more Democratic than rural areas, which tend to be a little more Republican. But they'll call us a Democratic state because 9 times out of 10, the Democrat is going to get our votes for president. And when that happens, then the Republicans are obviously upset because they're not getting any say, or they're feeling like they're not getting any say. And the same happens in Republican states where the Democrats might feel like they're not having their say. And so there are a couple of states who split it. And so if it's 60-40 and there's 10 and they have 10 and they have 10 people who can vote, the electoral vote, they have 10, then they'll give 6 to one and 4 to the other. But there's only a couple of states that do that, and I really feel like that is another way that the Electoral College can be changed so that it's more equitable and people would feel like they had more of a say, is if it was split percentage-wise instead of just winner takes all. The other thing about the Electoral College like that is that when they get, believe it or not, when they get in to like do their voting, they do not have to. They say they're going to vote for whoever won. They don't have to, but I don't think there's ever been an instance where they haven't done that. I think most of the people who take that job take it seriously, and they vote for whoever it is that they say they're going to vote for, or whoever the people say that they wanted, and that isn't done. But I mean, it's just another weird thing about the Electoral College. And yeah, we'll talk more about that tomorrow, but that is definitely a huge discussion, and I would like to get into it more and get some more facts for you tomorrow, so that when we talk about it, and giving you more information so that you can make a decision, because a lot of people are talking about it right now. So that's all for tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow, and please like and follow and leave a comment. Thank you. Bye.